Hello and welcome to the next video in our series of videos all about helping you to support your little one with their reading at home. Now, the last video that I made was all about supporting your child when they're reading a pink colour band reading level book, and this one is going to be our next colour band, which is red. So this is an example of a red book, and probably the most frequently asked question we're asked about in reception is, oh, they're reading really slowly, is this right? So we're going to talk about that now. So, building on the skills that we learnt previously in our lilac and our pink colour band books, we're going to continue to build up that repertoire of skills with our red books. Now, red books contain lots and lots of decodable words, those ones that we can sound out and put those sounds together, blend them, to be able to read those words. Not only that, it's got our high frequency words in, the ones we come across all of the time in our reading, and also some tricky words that we have to recognise on sight. So just as before, when we looked at our different colour bands, our pink and our lilac books, in these red ones, you're going to start off by looking at the front cover of the book. You can say, well, what do you think this story might be about? Is a good question for starting, but also you can say to them, for extra challenge now, let's read the title. So it's up to them to sound and blend that title to give them clues again as to what the story is going to be about. So when your child starts to look inside the book and they are beginning to segment and blend those sounds together, it is, as I've mentioned before, so important that they can hear their own voice and they're not relying on us to sound out those words for them. Now, something I use in school, which again might help you at home, is My Friend a Little Puppet, because he is called Brad. Now, Brad is a little bit shy. The children know Brad really well because he is a turtle. And what we say is, when we're sounding out a word, don't turn into a turtle, because Brad does this. Instead of sounding out, he goes like this. Look, he's a little bit shy and he's not sounding out loud, so we can't hear those sounds, so we need to help him. And you can do this with any toy that you've got at home. It's a great way of just building that confidence, injecting a little bit of fun if they're finding it a little bit tricky at first to have a go and sound out those sounds for themselves. So again, it just adds a bit of fun to our reading at home. So to help with your child's focus at home when we're reading red books, as I say, it can be quite a slow process. So giving them that focus and helping them to move as well to sound out those words really helps them. So for example, I would say to them, if they're sounding out a word and they're finding it a little bit tricky, just use your robot arms. So you might do something like this. D-a-g. D-a-g. Blend it together. Dog. Now, I would ask them to do this to me. I wouldn't be joining in with it because they need to hear their own voice to work out what those sounds are together. If they're still finding it a bit tricky with that little bit of movement, maybe it's given them just that chance to have refocus and concentrate again. You can also draw them to the pictures in the book as well. In a red book, very often any words that might be a little bit trickier to sound out, they'll have the picture cue there because obviously they're building on the skills that we've learnt in our lilac and our pink books previously. So when your child at home is reading these red books, very often it takes so much concentration and focus to segment and blend those sounds together to read those words, you can lose some of the comprehension skills that they might have been using in their pink and their lilac books, where they had more time and focus to look at the pictures. So it's really important now to hone in on your questioning of their text. And that means that they can get into a deeper level understanding and build on their skills to move up onto our yellow book bands. So a great way of supporting your child with comprehension at home is obviously questioning them. And what I like to do is give them lots of brain breaks. So when they're segmenting and blending those sounds, it might be after a page, I might ask them a simple question, who do you think the main character of this story is? Or where do you think it's set? Now, it gives them a little bit of a break, helps them refocus and aids their concentration. So lots of questions is lots of fun. But also, when you get to the end of the story, there might also be a chance to work out what is inferred. And this is a great skill to build on, even at red level books. So for example, in a book like Miss, the teacher at the end has gone home and she's holding her head in her hands. And I like to ask a question like, oh, why do you think she's holding her head in her hands? Because she's got home now. Do you think she's happy because she's home now and she's going to have her tea by the looks of it? So why do you think she's holding her head in her hands? And this is wonderful because it gives the children that chance to build on that inference skill. So it's not just using the text and the illustration to work out the meaning. Is there a meaning that's inferred there that we can work out by looking at it in a different way? A great game that you can play with read books, especially as it's getting later in the week. Maybe your child's struggling with concentration a little bit and focus, they're a bit more tired. What I love to play is Find the Word. So you'll get your book, you'll have your Oxford Owl online book, and maybe you'll look for a word, for example, like a tricky word or a high frequency word, or even a word that they've read in the title. So something like this, you might be looking for the word duck. See how many times they can spot it through the story. And this really helps them because the next time you come to revisit the book the following day, quite often they will read that word on sight. They won't have to segment and blend it, and it will speed them up. So it gives them the skills for when they've had a little rest, and then they're ready to read it all by themselves again the next day. I really hope you found this video useful in supporting your little one with reading Red Level reading books at home. If you have enjoyed the video, please don't forget you can give it a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to our Hull Church of England Primary School YouTube channel. It's completely free, and also there's loads of content on there all about reading, writing, number, all different things supporting your child's learning at home. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and the next video will be uploaded shortly, all about supporting your child with reading our next colour band, which is yellow. And thank you so much again. Take care. Bye bye.